It's time to get wild.
Hello and good evening, everybody. It is Sunday, July 25th, 2021, and it is week 3 in the Big Brother USA house. And we just finished our nominations episode as we saw HOH from the Kings, Xavier, put up Brittany of the Jokers and Brent of the Aces, the B&B, Airbnb, if you will, as this new Royal Flush Alliance emerges. I'm Dave Mader. We're coming at you here on Super Mader Brothers Podcasting, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube, or you might be listening to the audio version, joined with my brother Jeff Mader and co-host Jaemeel Robinson. How are you fellas tonight?
I'm doing better than Brittany.
Yes, victim Brittany, I'm doing much better than. Why? Why is it happening?
Baby!
Everyone in this house is floating.
No, she said coasting.
Oh, coasting. Right.
Coasting.
They're all
Coasters
coasting,
need
yeah.
a flight life jacket.
Yes, because people are very sensitive about the difference between a coaster and a floater.
What's the difference?
Yeah, what is the difference?
Nothing.
It's not important. Honestly, it's not even important. Like floater is like supposed to be better situated in the house and is getting along with everyone, so it's not rustling every waves. And then there's people who are just like, just doing nothing and just being by themselves and just coasting through the game.
Okay.
Those damn coasters.
You could argue Brittany's one of those people. Miss Valedictorian can't add to 13.
Let's go, baby!
Okay, let's talk about this episode and these nominations and everything else. So tonight we saw Xavier as he seems to be a X, as he's known. Watch out for the X, man. He's at the center of this alliance now that has been sort of christened, that you alluded to on our last spoiler sections, Jaemeel, the Royal Flush Alliance. And here I have a little soundbite of their forming, of their official. This would be their Declaration of Independence.
Royal Flush has ace, kings, and queens. Like Royal Flush. I like that.
Okay, I like it too.
Trumpets are playing. The Royal Court. It's kings and queens and one ace up the sleeve and Derek X. But forget Brittany and Whitney and Brent of the Aces. They are not welcome. And who else is on that team? Hannah?
What? Who's a part of the Aces?
Yeah, Hannah's on the Aces too, right? She's not welcome to this Royal Flush.
Isn't it Hannah, Derek X, and Brent?
Yeah, Hannah's one of these players that she's not the only one in the house, but has not figured out what's going on in that house, but doesn't really care because the people that are going home, she doesn't like personally. So
yeah, right.
So these are the things that I kind of look at her and go, well, yeah, she's a coaster right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, she's looking to have a showmance with Derek X.
Not saying anything.
We're gonna find out.
Her and Derek X. Maybe Derek X, if they do end up in a relationship, fills her in.
Well, if she.
I'm sorry.
No, that was good. I didn't even mean to do that.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. And so a couple things here tonight. So yeah, this Jeff, what do you think of this Royal Flush alliance? Do you think it's smart? Do you think that the people that are leaving out of it is questionable?
It's going to blow up, I think. Like I said, we already have a leak that is potentially forming. I don't think it's going to last. I think this giant alliance this season is not going to be ironclad like it has been in seasons past, like we've seen with Bomb Squads and Faute and all these different big alliances that have occurred.
Isn't that great though?
Yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah, we don't want these things to last long. They're slightly stronger than voting blocks, but not as powerful and everlasting as the 8-7 person alliance that just steamrolls a game, right? We're going to see people bounce back and forth and different formations occur and they have names. Like this is going to be the season I feel with like 20 different alliances that are christened and unchristened and destroyed.
Is that because of the team twist, you think, Jaemeel? Is that what's driving this? That
No, I think it's personalities more than anything.
Yeah.
Team twist is just an easy way to kind of divide everyone and everyone to kind of section themselves together. But it's the personalities involved that kind of are the final stamp to make this season how it is. If there was different personalities, let's say a Christmas who is so desperate to join up and be a part of something, or adult like Beast Mode Cowboy who's just jumping through hoops like a thirsty dog, then then it then you could see like Frenchie getting those type of people and having a foundation that
It almost
you know,
happened.
yeah, if just imagine if it was you had a
Whitney.
Christmas, you had a Beast Mode Cowboy, and you had Brent there, Mr. Champagne, then like that is 4 out of that's 5 people in that alliance with Frenchie. And then you just add some stragglers on, that's a dominant alliance that's going far.
Yeah, like the difference between a Whitney and a Christmas is Christmas never would have turned on Frenchie. And then everyone would have seen that. And I think kind of like, oh, okay, well, he's, like numbers kind of go together. Like, if they see, well, there's 3 here already, no matter what. Okay, it's either I join those 3 and make it a 5 or a 6, or I try to go with the other people. And if they don't have their stuff together, then it's really difficult to get that counter alliance going. So I see why it happens a lot. It's frustrating as a viewer, sometimes seeing it.
And Christmas is so like, regardless of what irrational behavior Frenchie would be doing, Christian would just eat it up with a spoon and just saying there has to be a reason. And she would confront him, and Frenchie would whammy her, and she'll go, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. And then no amount of convincing would convince her otherwise.
But I can't win if I can't play.
some Christmas Abbott for you. Who's having a baby with what's his name?
Play or no?
The one Memphis. Yes, they are a thing. Okay, so Jaemeel, what did you think of the Everyone Hates Brent segment tonight?
Justified.
Let's say Exhibit A.
Men, we will always take an opportunity to make a pass with someone we find attractive. It's the truth. It just
okay. Is this a when Harry met Sally kind of a Billy Crystal kind of rationale here with like, hey, men and women can never be friends because sex gets in the way, or is this just a really dated reference from a sad man?
He's a sad man. He is carbon dated. You hear the conversations that he has with people, and supposedly his skill is to be able to read people because he's so well traveled. He is clueless how creepy he is to people. And I am so glad that the lip reading segment made the air, because like, dude, seriously, like, why were you just staring at people watching their lips move on the other side, and then you tell people? Don't tell people that you could lip read.
Exhibit B.
I'm really trying to put aside game and personal, but Brent's making it really hard for me because he thinks he's like this god that I just want so bad. I don't know why he's thinking that at all.
Is that justified? Like her saying that? Like, does he think he's a god? Like, I didn't see that part.
The way
I didn't
he talks
see
to people.
That's an opinion. That's her opinion.
Yeah. I didn't see that part on the show. Like, I did see that he's an ego. He has an ego, and but I didn't see him say that to her. Did you guys see? Like,
a little bit, where he was like, well, you were talking to Christian and I saw what you said to him, and she's like, well, that's not what I said to him, and and
I saw your mouth was to the side, so you're reading partial lips.
I read the side of your mouth, and that's what I got.
He was jealous. I'll definitely agree with that. Yeah, he was jealous that he wasn't getting the attention. Yeah, and he's thirsty. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, like, Alyssa is. I can understand why people would find her attractive, but like the secret sauce that she must have to just have these these guys just like so Brent likes her, Christian likes her, and also at the same time Xavier has a crush on her. And like I don't find her that super special in terms
She's
of
pretty girl, but her
yeah.
personality is nothing, out of this world or anything like that. Actually, do you know the girl that I think that stands out to me in this house is Azah. I just really think she's a genuinely good person and has a real good heart. She's playing Big Brother
little
kind of
too.
poorly, a little too much.
Genuine. I'm like
Too much in the house. Yeah, Big Brother, you kind of need to put that in a lock and key sometimes. But at the same time, I'm kind of like I'm glad she's showing me the viewer because like she's endearing to me. Like I think I'd really really like her as a person outside of the house because she just seems like a really good person.
I agree as well. It's frustrating to me because I have her in the draft and she's talking about certain things that we're gonna allude to shortly. The balance of kind of having a heart while playing Big Brother is a very weird balance because you don't want to appear as a game bot, and so you want to be able to endear yourselves to other people, to develop these connections so that people are willing to vote for you at the end regardless of gameplay. Because look, as much as people like to think that they got this game down like mentally, it's a long game and there's going to be lapses that can be easily called out in terms of your performance. The underlying factor is people are going to want to have to give you the money, right? Paul, as great as he played, did not do a good job in terms of his jury
Correct.
management.
Yes.
At all.
He wasn't endearing.
Twice.
People
right?
didn't like him. They liked playing the game with him, but they didn't like him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's
Two
true,
times.
Juno. Look
Two
at
times.
even look at the when Dan lost to Ian. Dan deserved to win the game, but they liked Ian more as a person, so they
Correct.
gave him the win. So like it does matter in Big Brother. You spend that much time with people and you go to give somebody that much money. It's different in Survivor. It's only 39 days. It's like over 100 days in Big Brother. So it's a long time. It's like a third of a year. And it really is. I would not want to give it to someone I didn't like, even if they played better. That's why I always thought in Survivor, it was so very petty for them to not give it to Russell because it was 39 days. Like, really? Like, you really hate this guy this much after 39 days? Like, I see, I guess I could see how that happens. But Survivor is so cutthroat and so fast that, come on, that's the game. Big Brother's different. It's slower,
Russell, in retrospect, like, people looking back now can understand why people wouldn't vote for him. But the people on the show did not see what happened, right? And I didn't feel that there was enough for him to not, like, get that. And it just became one person on the jury having seemingly did not like the fact that he themselves did not play very well. And I felt took it out on Russell.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The first time for sure. The second time,
I understand. Although I'm not. I still have feelings that Sandra shouldn't have won either.
I think Parvati should have won that season, but that's
Parvati should have won.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you have to find that balance, right? The balance of being respected, but also liked enough, right? They don't have to love you. You're not trying to. You're not Sally Field. Right? You just want people to feel like I'm giving money to a scumbag, right? And not have that happen.
Right. And I do see people thought that about Russell. And Russell, if you see his like YouTube channel, he talks about like during those days he was like an asshole. And so he understands, I think, now why he didn't win.
He does.
But,
he also understands the brand that he is, and he can't completely go away from it.
No,
right. Nor does he feel like he's indebted to have to make money by luring himself to like play nice. He has more than enough money. He is comfortable, so he's gonna be like, I'm gonna continue this, but I'm also not gonna pull any punches.
Are we saying like that Brent's like a Russell Hantz kind of a character, like that kind of controversial?
No. We were talking about Azah actually.
Yeah. We were talking
What
about
was
like how like Azaz, like she just seems like such a genuinely good person. I think I would really like to get to know her outside the house, as far as like if I, but in the game, she's too good of a person almost. Like offering to put
Yes.
herself on the block tonight was a mistake.
Yes.
But at the same time, I like where that came from. Even though I don't like Brittany and she was sticking up for Brittany, I really liked.
You can see the empathy that
Yes.
it didn't come from like, I'm being strategic. I don't want this person to cry again. Was her reasoning. Like strategy was out of it. And like not as only I find that she's extremely gorgeous, but she's also a very, person that, as exactly what you said, you would like to get to know. That being said, as picking her in the draft, I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't, no.
Yeah, well, yeah, she has been playing well, but not tonight. So I agree that this move, like that she was like drained, I guess, from having to console Brittany constantly. But however, she made it her own bed with that situation, in the relationship she has with Brittany, in a sense.
Look, I'll talk more about that whole kind of scenario in the spoilers. So it isn't typically a spoiler because but it wasn't shown on television. So, but I'll segment it to there. Okay. And we'll move on. Let's get back to the main story, Dave.
Back to Brent.
Where were we?
Talking about
Where
Brent
were we?
before you left?
Mr. Champagne.
Yeah. With Mr.
Is he a creep?
Is he a creep? I think he is a bit of a creep. Yeah, I think he's clueless though, more than anything. I think he doesn't even understand how he comes across, especially to women.
Yes.
And I do.
Everything that comes out of Brent's mouth, I'm like, it makes me sick.
And like
gag
I want like I don't know if we have his bio, but like, does he have any sisters? Because I would guess he doesn't, because you wouldn't have that opinion about like not having a attractive female friend if you had a sister, or I think anyway. That's my opinion.
Let me drop you a quote. It wasn't shown on television, but a quote that also happened from Mr. Brent Champagne. Brent Champagne said that he feels that Hannah isn't really responding to his advances too much. And if this was outside of the house, he would have just completely moved on from her because he has no time for that. But the good news is for her that they're trapped in the house together so he can wear her down.
Oh, no.
Talk about stupid.
That's a Bill Cosby talk right there. I don't
I'm like, wear her down? Sorry, Urkel. Like, what? Oh my gosh.
Wow.
He's like, I'm wearing you down.
Like again, I don't even think he knows how he comes across.
Oh.
I think he's oblivious to it. Like, I don't, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he knows exactly what he's doing and he's really creepy on purpose, but oh man. That's true.
He seems like the type of person that subscribes to the what is it, the Meninist game theory of picking up women.
Yes. He's a clubber, man. That guy goes to the club and tries to pick up chicks at the club. That's who he is.
Xavier described him like this.
Brent has rubbed some people the wrong way. He says some things where I'm kind of like,
See, it's a completely different reaction from a guy than a girl in the house, right? The girls are like, this guy's an egomaniac.
He makes me want to throw up.
He makes me want to throw up, blah, 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 right? And then the guy, like Xavier's like,
full disclosure. I don't know about you, but I've known guys like that. And you're like, man, I'm friends with this dude. This dude is a good guy. And then you get up to the club, and then you're like, yeah, man, you shouldn't be doing that. Don't do that, okay? That's wrong. No, don't do that. Right? Yeah. Or you see you're around enough guys to know how creepy some guys are. So like, short example, it was my friend's birthday, and we decided to go to a club, bunch of us, guys and girls. And I go to the bathroom, I come back, and I walk almost to the dance area, and I see my friends dancing, all right? And then I look over to the side, and there's this dude with the camera is recording the girls in our group dancing. And I'm like, I'm looking to see if like maybe you're just trying to get a wide establishing. No, they were focused in, and then I'm like, don't do that. Delete it. Never do that again. Right? But
Cringe. I think you're trying to get
it's
to, right?
super cringe. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm not surprised. That's the sad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the environment you're in. That's not surprising. You know,
Yeah, we left a club.
Do we have people like Whitney potentially being enablers here? Because she doth protest too much.
I'm not irritated.
But then in private she says
You're just so in love with yourself. You can't see past your own ego.
anytime someone's voice goes up, Dave, where it's like, I'm not irritated. That's a lie.
I'm not irritated.
Yes. She pays like $2,500 on her hair.
Oh my god. Really?
It comes up in a story.
I have horrible taste in men.
horrible.
Fashion teeth.
Well, you know what? I'm actually surprised that she doesn't have the opposite opinion of Brent. Because if she has such horrible taste in men, she should think Brent's like a super suave guy, shouldn't she? Like,
who says she doesn't?
Right? Maybe she did it first, and then like all the other girls are like, no, this guy's creepy, and she's like,
He was part of her dream team.
This is like my dream team.
Right, and then like other girls had to kind of fill her in that this guy's kind of like an ego guy, and then she got it, but no, like on first instinct, she doesn't understand.
I think Brent would whammy her in a club.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
and but it really here Xavier explains to us like based on his two alliances that he's now in, this Royal Flush and Cookout and everything else. He's like, I can only really put up like three people, Brent, Whitney, and Brittany.
Right, and as Oz said to him, why don't you just put up Whitney? And he's like, I can't.
He can. I think Whitney's like his replacement nom. He could put up any combination of these three.
Yeah.
He fought against it though. Why did he fight against it, Dave?
Straight up, if they put up Whitney probably would have went home before Brent.
Is that why you think? Yeah,
I think he might have read the tea leaves and knows that enough people don't like Whitney at all.
It also might be like they might say, "Oh well, we should get out a girl before a guy next because two guys have already gone."
True.
Well, that would have been like, I know they didn't show it on the show, and I know Brent's been doing it, but my argument, I know it's gonna sound weird, but like I would have been like, dude, this will be the third guy going out in a row.
People are saying that constantly.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And
that must be the best argument you can make to Xavier, right? Like, but unless he doesn't care about that. That's not important.
Xavier doesn't care.
Right.
Okay,
Xavier
straight up doesn't care.
So, but so if he doesn't care, then don't use that argument. You got to move on. But
yeah,
it sounds like that's not what Brent did.
There's more than enough people that don't want Whitney there and feel that Brent's always going to be a target that you can take out each week. He's just so oblivious and stupid. Stupid.
Yeah, they keep taking out like Frenchie. Like Travis was oblivious too to what was going on in the house. Brent will be the third one in a row. You can just get it. Is Brittany going to go home the week after that? Like it's just you're taking out all the kind of easy people to take out.
Talk about stupid.
Yes, we're talking about you.
How is that guy a flight attendant? Like just from somebody that's in the service industry, I'm just like, how is that guy service people?
He's charming. He's charming to like the older women probably love him. You know, the guys in first class think is like, you know what? He's been around. He'll tell a story about himself and
how to spell his name.
Brent Champagne, spelled just like the drink.
It's like spell it.
Just like the drink.
Just like it. Yeah, like so he had to put up. I don't really know why he fought it so much. I guess you're right. Whitney is. I guess I do know now. I think I accept Jameel's explanation that
that's fair.
Whitney. I would probably vote out Whitney ahead of Brent because I can think Whitney has more social power to make more like backroom deals and things like that.
Exactly the reason why people feel about Whitney.
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, how about this segment tonight where there was Tiffany being cocky. She was talking to the cameras a lot and she was like, she's got to go, talking about Whitney, I believe, right?
Yeah, the cameras just kept following her, so she's like, I'm going to talk to the cameras then.
Yeah, Tiffany, she was going on.
I don't know what the French you thought, but let me tell you what really is going on.
Yeah.
she was talking. She was very confident, very happy with her alliance, everything else. What reactions to Tiffany? Are you liking Tiffany on the show as a character?
No, not for me. No. All right. Tonight, with what she was doing with the wild card competition, too cute, and her decision to not protect people was should be blatantly obvious to the people in the bottom of the house. She should have just done it and rolled the dice and just seen what would. I know she would have pissed off her alliance probably, but. To me, like if I'm Brent or anybody that's not in the big alliance, I'd be like, that was pretty painfully obvious that you're working with a bunch of people here. Like that's how I would.
But Brent was too stupid. He's like, oh, this is great news for us because then we can clearly get our target without any worries of additional.
Yeah, but like talk about oblivious. Is he in the room talking to people about who to take out? It doesn't sound like it. So what the hell is going on?
He's always in the bathroom.
Yeah, I gotta pee.
Here, my issue with Tiffany is, and this is I'm kind of putting myself in her position. If things are going way too well, too soon, I get worried.
Yeah,
I get worried in this game, and I'm like, it looks like I'm peaking, and then I'm gone like week 4 because I get exposed. Right, and then there's a whole kerfuffle, and they see that I have a whole lot of consolidated power, and they just take me out. And all the people who are with me, right? They shrug their shoulders and they take the remaining power that I had left over, and they continue on, right? And I'm out in the cold, having done so much work. She did so much groundwork, but like you can't. Sometimes it's kind of good to do all of that work and then lay back, and she ain't laying back.
She's not laying. That's not what a grill master does.
Look at.
So you can just call me the grill master.
Look at Sarah Beth's episode tonight. She was barely on the show, and when she was just really getting intel for the Kings from after the wild card competition when Azal, Brittany, Derek F were all kind of, doing the moratorium of the wild card competition. They didn't. I think Sarah was just getting intel. Is that what you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, she also likes to play matchmaker with Derek F. Right?
Everyone's talking.
They were shipping like they were like, oh, we gotta get Derek X and Hannah going here.
Yeah,
right.
Very similar players.
Very.
And then Christian and Alyssa, they were saying they need
okay.
to
First of all, I have something to say about Christian. Bull fucking shit. You didn't come into the house looking for a showmance. You are so full of shit. Yeah. I don't believe a single word of that.
His dick is a watering stick, and he's just like,
yeah.
Dude, it's like
he came into the house hard. Yeah, like he did.
He did.
Yeah, I don't think he's going deep. Like I think
he's looking for it. He is indeed looking to go deep, though.
Yeah, he's looking to go deep.
Yeah, he's looking to go deep.
Girls love the girls.
So, not a spoiler, but Xavier walked into the HOH room to find Alyssa and Christian making out. Caught them.
Xavier did?
Yep.
Why were they in the HOH without him? Why were they in the HOH room with
people chill in the HOH room when the HOH isn't there all the time?
Yeah,
that's super. That suits Operation No Man's.
Operation No Man's.
Yeah, and no penis.
No penis.
So the A's are all the way up here.
She's well and away for no penis.
No penis.
I really think if Azah and Xavier can get on the same page, they could really do well.
Make wonderful children. Yes, I agree.
Oh, that too.
Is the sexual tension building in this house?
I think with certain players, yeah.
Certain players. A lot of the younger players, though, you notice.
Yeah, I just think, if Azah and Xavier really got on the same page, they could destroy this house. I think there's, but Xavier has to fill Azah in on what's going on, and I just don't know if that's going to happen, metaphorically or physically.
Ooh.
So. because Operation No Man's and Operation No Penis, to put those two together, I just don't know.
Don't forget, Xavier is the person who puts Operation No Man's in jeopardy.
The person I think who put Operation No Man's in jeopardy would be Alyssa.
Okay,
Well,
so I'm going to talk on that subject. A lot of people are going to be targeting Alyssa because they see all these dudes thirsty for this woman.
Yes.
Right, and it's not like she's a horrible person.
No,
and it's not like she's a complete idiot. So there's worry that a situation is going to come up where it's going to be one of the people in one of these alliances, and they're going to be sitting on the block against Alyssa, and these thirsty dudes aren't going to vote Alyssa out. Right? Christian ain't voting Alyssa out.
Well, yeah. If Christian and Alyssa are on the block together, Christian's going home every single time. If Alyssa's on the block with Xavier, Xavier's going home every single time. Like on and on. Right? Yeah.
Brett will vote out his mother if Alyssa's on the block.
Yes, you're right.
Who's the friend you think you are?
I think it's smart though. Actually, I do think Alyssa should go into the showmance with Christian for protection. As far as like, I think it will just get all the thirsty guys less thirsty, toward her. It'll just be like, oh, okay, now she's off limits, and so she is attracted to Christian. Just go with it and just make that a showmance. And I just think it'll protect her a little bit because it's getting creepy that all these guys are thirsty for her.
They keep telling people that they're like brother and sister.
Yeah, I always told that as a clip, and then I ran out of time. But
I'm like, when you say that, all people are thinking of is Game of Thrones.
Like Alyssa, Alyssa on day 3 is different than Alyssa on day 19.
Frenchie, do you think that I'm really smacking lips with someone on day 3? I don't even know how to flirt in real life. I'm not flirting in this house.
She's not flirting.
Yeah, sure.
She's not flirting. She says stuff, and people think it's whimsical.
Right? No, I just mean with Christian. If she's smacking lips with Christian, she's got to be flirting a little bit with him.
Girls love the girls.
I don't make my bed. That's the only issue you have?
That's your problem.
I'm like, geez.
Yeah.
Literally, I don't think she's flirting. She just says stuff, and people just think it's whimsical.
Oh, I think you're right about that. I just think with Christian, she's probably flirting a little bit. If they ended up making out, I mean, something led to that. No,
On the other showmans too, Hannah and Derek X. What do you think of this potential pairing? Because I thought that it was maybe going to be a Brent Hannah showmans. That's definitely not happening. She is not. She wants to throw up in her mouth. Now
she's like this grandpa, Brent Champagne.
Yeah, this complete waste of time. Is that what you?
What
mean?
is he? 28? Oh, he's ancient.
Yeah, but Derek X is like what 24, so he's okay.
He's closer to her age.
She's 21, right? So
she's 21. She's the youngest in the house.
She doesn't look that young though. Like I mean, she doesn't look like a kid. I would say so.
She's more mature mentally because she's wicked smart. Wicked smart.
Put the coffee in the coffee maker.
Likes apples.
Her New York Boston accent.
Right.
But we're learning. We're learning.
They're just on the same page, right? And I think for the most part, people are just going to keep pushing them together. They're on the same mental and emotional wavelength in terms of their attitudes.
What happens though when she finds out that Derek X is the only ace in the Royal Flush?
Well, I think the only way she's like gonna, if she doesn't find out about that imagine she finds out that from somebody other than Derek X. Imagine that happens. I'd be like, dude,
that could hurt their showmance.
I think that he is going to tell her when the Royal Flush blows up.
I can't go against the Royal Flush Alliance.
That's his parachute.
Yeah, I agree. That is his parachute. I just wonder if he'll tell her before that, especially if they get romantic. He'll tell her before it blows up.
Mm-hmm. Which would be fine for her though, because her connection with members in the cookout and the Royal Flush would be like the grounding of that loose wire.
What did you guys have fun with the wild card competition tonight?
Well, yeah, Brittany can't add Miss Valedictorian. You know, anybody who has to tell you how smart they are and all their accomplishments isn't very smart. Anybody who tells you how rich they aren't very rich. That's that's my personal opinion on those things.
Right.
All she had to do was take a breath, use that martial arts focus, or focus her chi, and she would have just easily gotten rid of Derek X.
Yeah, and then she could have beat
bring
Tiffany.
out all the stops.
She had better balance on the balance beam than Tiffany did. She could have beat Tiffany.
Yep.
You know, so she lost that for herself. And then the thing I don't like about Brittany is it's always everybody else's fault, and it's she blames everybody else. You know, you screwed up.
Well, you know what? If you don't like being on the block, win some power.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to worry about being on the block. It's
Get
simple
ready
as
for
that.
the veto. Get ready for the veto.
Get ready.
She talks about how great she is and her martial arts and ballerina and smart and everything, but she ain't winning. Like no one was blocking her from answering the questions correctly for the head of household, right? So
well, back on the showmance with Hannah and DX. They claim tonight that they threw that HOH. Do you buy that? Those two?
Yes,
yes.
Yes, but that means they really caught on to that quote and they knew what they were doing was wrong. Maybe they didn't throw it. Maybe they got it wrong, and then they acted like they threw it. They were just happy. They were just like, yes.
Wait, Jeff, are you saying that what we were given was fan fiction?
It could be. I could definitely see it being fan fiction
or an exaggeration.
Or an exaggeration. Like she was just happy they got it wrong. I could see that, but maybe they got it wrong on purpose. Seems strange though when there was that many people left in the HOH to get that wrong on purpose.
Well, it would have been the remaining individuals was Sarah Beth, Xavier.
Hold on, I took a picture of this at the time. I have that. No, not ready to show here on the screen, but I can.
That was Sarah Beth, Xavier, Derek X, Hannah, and there was one more person.
Yeah, there was one more person in the far corner. It wasn't Whitney. It wasn't Fashion Teeth.
I have it here. Okay, so it was Alyssa was still in it. Sarah Beth,
that was Ellen.
Xavier, Derek X, and Hannah.
So it was just kings and queens. So that's I can see why.
So they're saying at this point they didn't care which of them won it.
They didn't want to win it because they were aces.
Because in the previous round, Whitney had been knocked out. So once Whitney and maybe Claire. No, I don't think it mattered that Claire was knocked out.
No, they wanted a king to win.
They just didn't want an ace to win, and they were the last remaining aces.
Yeah,
and the reason they didn't want that was because they knew Brent was going.
Because Brent went out early in that competition.
Yup.
Oh yeah.
He went out in the first round.
So did Tiffany, and Tiffany was like, "I got that first."
So did Brittany. Wrong. So yeah, like
I was impressed with Alyssa. No,
Whitney held on for quite a few rounds before she was knocked out.
Yeah. Way to go, Fashion Teeth.
Fashion Teeth. Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah. So I mean, did they do it on purpose? They might have. I mean, I'm not gonna say they definitely didn't.
They were saying they were gonna throw him before, but once again, unless you express specifically that you're throwing it, it's all fan fiction.
I think Hannah threw it. I don't think Derek X did. And I have my reason is their reactions. Hannah went like look at the true. She went like that. And I didn't notice that on the live broadcast. And Derek kind of just went like, okay. Like, I think he was just happy that, like, I don't think he necessarily tried to get it wrong, but it worked out.
Yeah. He was relieved as anything. We talked about the competition itself. Was Xavier pumping you up, Jaemeel?
It's time to get wild.
It's time to get wild.
Jeff, did you love this song?
Yes.
That is an anthem, Jeff.
They're wild card. Yeah, they basically did wild thing and
wild card. Yeah,
you make my heart
sing. Here we go.
Yeah, they basically repurposed that song and just changed the chord a little bit, which is fine. I mean, they always do that on Big Brother. At the same time, okay, I said to Amanda during the show, I was like, why are so many people in the DR this season? Like I don't mind a few of them because I'm this way, but they're so monotone monotone. Like so many of them are just not like they're. It's the opposite of what Claire was doing, where it was like over the top and overacting, right?
But
that
Jamal
was
like Brittany with her hands and.
Yes. There's a few of them in the house, but then there's also like the Xaviers and the Derek X's, and they're so monotone when they're explaining like the narration of the show. I don't know. Sometimes I want to fall asleep. Don't you guys feel that way? I don't know.
Break out the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches is what
I think like the exciting people or like the super extroverted personalities like are more likely to be the maybe slightly more annoying ones.
Let's go, baby!
You know,
I know. I get I'd be double standard here, but at the same
like,
time,
what do you want, Jeff? You can't.
I like the outgoing personalities, but I want them to be entertaining, not annoying.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you're gonna be very reserved, have like a level of intensity or presence. A lot of times it's just like, so yeah. Well, I went to the thing, and then I'm just restating the facts exactly as they happen, and I'm just letting you know what my reaction is.
Exactly, Jaemeel. That's exactly what's going on. And then it cuts to Brittany or Claire, and it's like completely the opposite.
I'm on the block again. No, man, I'm gonna be super hype, right? I'm gonna show them that the best way to take myself out of trouble is to control my own destiny. That's Brittany, right?
Yes. And it's just like, what the hell's going on in this house? Like, I kind of want to see the opposite, where the extroverted person is in power and the introverted person's on the block. But that hasn't happened yet in this season. So what it did was Frenchie. But and then that week was a lot more entertaining for me.
Oh, Brittany HOH. She's going to have total HOH. This is going to be great.
I want a Brittany HOH so bad. See, like, I don't root against Brittany. You know, that's not my purpose of maybe not liking her character. I want her to win now because for me, I cheer for the game and I cheer for the entertainment. I don't cheer for an individual. I don't care who wins. It's a totally arbitrary thing to me who wins money. For me,
Jeff, you ain't getting any of that money.
I want chaos.
I want this so bad now.
That's why I watch this show. I don't watch for monotone narrations and recaps.
You watch it for raps on Angina.
Whit and Britt are on the bike. Come and join us every night. We will keep you entertained and keep your workout scene sustained. Come and join us. Go and join us.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, Sam. Just imagine when Brittany is HOH and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna put you up as a pawn. I don't want to be a pawn. Tough. I was a pawn for 2 weeks in a row. Like, he will go off on anyone.
Her power is going to be the most entertaining thing of all time. So
she'll do a rap on Xavier. It won't be like this though.
Hey, everybody, listen up. We got X. He's so cool. He can flex. When he looks at you, your eyes go to the sky. Can't you tell that X is a stand-up guy?
Question. Did Xavier put her up for that rap and that rap alone?
Yes. Largely.
Who would Brittany put up? I think Brittany would put up the two people that put her up. Xavier and who was last week's HOH? It was Kyland. I think she put up both those people.
Yeah.
Did I write it down?
Do I think she should drop an album? Probably not. But
I don't see Brittany as the type of person to forgive and forget.
No, she won't. But I think she said that she wanted to get out Claire and Alyssa, I think it was.
I could see her wanting to get rid of Alyssa because, like the whole house is focused on her. The whole house is focused on Alyssa, though. Claire, she's I would want to put her as a pawn because she seems inconsequential. Do you notice that she's not on the show anymore? And the reason why is she's so bad at the DR that Claire is so bad in the DR. At least Brittany's pretty good in the DR, but Claire, it's everything I've seen has been train wreck. So
trying too hard.
I think she should build a robot and have that robot do her her DRs because I'm pretty sure it would have more personality than she does.
Yeah, it's over the top or not genuine. I'd rather you monotone to do what she does, really,
Yeah,
personally.
Claire was really the only one not on the show tonight of this cast.
Yeah, Sarah Beth was barely on the show too.
But she
she
had a
didn't
couple
need to be.
segments. She had a
Yeah.
couple segments. Like
She's doing what Tiffany should be doing.
Yeah.
right.
Sarah
Yeah,
Beth is safe, still has power, and is just lean back. You,
leaning
you know, during the competition, the wildcard competition, Derek F is gonna like expose some people the way he just has loose lips. Like,
oh my god, him watching the wild card, like I was cringing. I was like, dude, don't show your cards. Like speaking, we were watching a whole competition about cards. I was just like, why are you reacting like this way in front of the whole house? Like, you say that in the DR. You don't say that in front of the house.
Don't say that.
Big D in the loop at all times.
He's in the loop.
He's in the loo all times.
I'm like an energy bunny.
So we cut to the chase, and Tiffany won. Tiffany got it thrown to her.
What do you think? Yeah, like I guess just in terms of what's going to be the fallout from this competition, Jaemeel, in this house. From everyone saw that it was kind of obvious that they teamed up on Brittany, and then it was kind of obvious more that Derek X threw it to Tiffany, even more so. I thought.
Keep far away from Derek X so people don't think that you guys are together, because people are gonna make their conclusions off of the evidence that they're presented, and then they're gonna look at
We have a question here, just unrelated, but have you guys seen The Toys That Made Us on Netflix? Yes, I have, Sam, and it's excellent.
yes,
I've watched both seasons. I think there's only 2 seasons.
maybe you should message Dave and ask him if he can do a little Super Mader Brothers recap for it. So this is
Maybe I should. Maybe I should. Yes.
Maybe
I am a big toy guy. Sam, yes.
Yes. I'm not.
Yeah, me either. I'm more of a record guy.
You're. Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not.
The Funkos aren't toys.
Nope.
No.
They're
The
figures.
statues.
They're figures, Dave.
The figures.
Vinyl
Come on,
figures. You're not allowed to take them out of the box. If that doesn't define not a toy, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Jaemeel, on this twist, the twist they threw at Tiffany tonight, you think what do you think she should have done?
She had
Jeff already.
She was screwed. She was screwed. She was damned if she did, damned if she didn't. And the only way that she could have been okay publicly was if Xavier went, "Don't do it," right? Just so that she was let off the hook. But she made that.
I would have played it.
She made her choice, and therefore she better have those conversations to make sure that people don't think that she that she's untrustworthy and she's kind of screwing people over in the game, because that was a total screw job. If I was in any of those other teams, I'd be like, I don't care who you're going after. You guys can go after other people. Why are you not hooking me up?
Exactly. That's why I think she should have done it, because her not doing it blatantly showed that there's a big alliance controlling the house, and if you're not in it, like Brent Champagne should have known that immediately. And then also like players like Whitney, like all of them should have been like Derek F. They all should have been like, come on, like this is
Ozza.
All of them should have pressured her afterward and been like, what the, maybe they did, but they should have been like, what the French, and said like, why wouldn't you want to save yourself plus 2 other people? Like, are you that aligned with that many people? I'd be grilling her.
How big is this big alliance that you felt uncomfortable like rolling the dice on some of us getting protection?
Yeah.
What the French?
Yeah.
Okay. She said, I'm not gambling with Brent. I almost pulled it as a clever. I was just like, when she's like, Brent.
I think, yeah. I think she might have just like. Would you say Tiffany's close to Xavier?
Kyland and not as much as Zazan anymore.
Right. But they're all in the cookout, so
yeah.
I understand.
Kyland, Sarah Beth, Claire, Xavier, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think
she
might have just done it to like protect Xavier's HOH, and that's like how she could spin it.
She
it's
should have
still-
said that immediately. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to put you in a tough decision, Xavier, so I'm gonna regretfully not take that offer.
Yeah.
We kind of touched on this. Well, okay, there was Brittany freaking out first with I guess Sarah Beth was there, right? Too. It was kind of like, but it was mostly jokers and her and then later on Azah was speaking with Xavier up in the HOH room saying, come on, man, don't put up Brittany again. Like, why do somebody else? But I think like she doesn't, I don't, Azah's not part of Royal Flush and or its predecessor, the Slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
But like, you know, he's like, I can't put you up because of this alliance or because of Cookout. And she's like, well, just put me up as a pawn. And he's like, no, I can't put you up. So like, this is the kind of thing that will get you kicked out of an alliance pretty quickly, I find.
So I'm going to talk on this subject as well. So Azah and Tiffany had a conversation, and Azah was expressing her frustration at the situation and how she didn't like the fact that Brittany was put up, right? So Tiffany says that she didn't want Brittany to go up. She wanted her to get safety, and she would go up. Azah stated that she wouldn't mind being put up because they have the votes to keep her safe. Tiffany retorted saying the same votes that would keep you safe is the same votes that's going to keep Brittany safe. So that's a non-starter, right? So Azah kind of understood it, but at the same time, you know, Brittany's still in this situation that Azah doesn't feel comfortable her reacting to it.
Okay. I don't know. I just thought that Azah came across very emotional, not a strategic player tonight. And now is potentially an alliance liability and definitely at the bottom of that Cookout alliance for sure. Like, I think that she'll be like she would say, like, put me on the block. And I think people get it. Like they think, well, what's the big deal? All I'm doing is risking my own position in the game, but you're not. You're also risking your alliance's position because numbers are everything. And if you're willing to like throw away your game, then you're throwing away their game in some senses, right? So Xavier will share this with like Tiffany and the others, and yeah, you're right. It will have a net negative effect long term for Azah. Xavier said, "You're salty with me. You get salty."
Yeah.
What about the conversation between Brent and Xavier? Brent was saying that he's just not pawn material.
Nothing about me, physically, mentally, or emotionally, screams pawn.
He's just not a pawn, Jeff. Like, what was this conversation Xavier was trying to have with him?
I don't know. I don't even know where to go with this stuff. Like Brent was right in his reaction to Xavier. Like, I understand exactly what he was saying, and he was right. At the same time, if you can't tell the whole house doesn't like you and doesn't want, like, Frenchie knew that, you know, and the fact that Brent can't figure that out is pretty sad.
Yeah.
I'm simply not a pawn.
But he's gonna. He might be saying "arrivederci," as they say in Italian soon. Come Thursday. Yeah. This whole cover. I thought like Xavier. I think is he's pretty cold. He's pretty stone cold in these situations. He's like, yes, I'm putting you up. And his like the attorney in Xavier, like that kind of is coming through. I think.
Yeah. No, he's definitely a calculated, logical guy. He's not emotional. Lawyers are designed. That's how they're trained to be. So I see like a cop, a lawyer. These are good professions to go into these houses, you know, with backgrounds because they allow you to remove the emotion. But even so, you could see tonight that Xavier was struggling with his emotion because it is tough because it's really you're dealing with a game of relationships and feelings and emotions, and it's not a courtroom. Okay, so yes, as much as that training helps you to maybe make emotional decisions emotionless, if you're an emotional person, if you're not a psycho, you're gonna have conflicts. you're gonna feel bad for somebody or not. Even if you don't like that person.
It's true.
Does Brent resemble a young Rocky Balboa, Jeff?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
But his father is not Smoking Joe Frazier.
He kind of reminds me
My
of
father.
He kind of reminds me of Rocky from I think it was season 14 of Survivor. Remember when they were the one where it's Fiji season, the Fiji season? There was a guy literally named Rocky because he looked like Rocky Balboa, and it wasn't his real. It was his name, but they called him that anyway. But yeah, that's who
I don't really remember the name. But,
you don't remember? Yeah, it's a deep cut.
Other question here: Has Brittany told anyone she's on the spectrum?
I didn't know she was.
It wasn't her intro package, but of course they wouldn't have seen that. Jaemeel, do you know? I would maybe she's keeping her karate skills to herself.
She is. Brittany's personality would have me assume that she is. A good portion of people in the house would have me believe that they are, whether it be the seemingly hyper intelligence and emotional detachment to the goings on in the house, to just the frantic energy that some people have. I would assume that they're equally on the spectrum as well. I didn't really catch that specifically. So the only person I believe I know that's on the spectrum is Kaylin. Is it Kaylin? I think.
I definitely have been aware of this with Brittany the whole time. Like, and this is part of the reason that she is how she is. But BB is saying she has told no one. So I guess maybe, I don't know how much you could consider anything to be obvious or not.
Do you think if she did tell people that, she wouldn't have been put on the block?
I don't know. It's hard to say how people would react to this, like that kind of information, right? Like,
because I do wonder if Kylan got some sympathy for his was it ADD or I don't forget what he has.
No, he has something else. Where what is it? Jaemeel, he has to process things. I don't know the name of.
Before he's able to properly relay the information, it takes him some time to process to be able to communicate what he wants to, and that's why it became such a big problem when talking to Frenchie, because Frenchie would just cut him off and just yell over him, and he wouldn't have a chance to talk, and he was getting just super frustrated.
Yeah, like to me, like sometimes players like they use a vulnerable piece of themselves sometimes to gain favor in the house, and I'm not saying that it doesn't come from a genuine place. I think it usually does. But at the same time, I do think it changes the way people look at the game because they know they're on TV and they know like, oh, I don't want to be seen as going after whatever, the autistic person, you fill in the blank, and sometimes like, I wonder, like, is that something you should use as strategy? I don't know if it's good. I don't know.
Well, you don't go after the white guy with abs.
I mean, I always heard it was like the white guy with abs that kind of gets conked first.
That's the sympathy. Oh, poor white guy with abs.
White guys everywhere with abs. Go to Taco Bell, get that family meal, right? Bulk up a little bit, right? And then while you're on the show, after week 2, you could just clean up.
Yeah. Like it happened with Brent, like too in this season. Like I do think it happens.
And Frenchie, it might. Okay, if it is Brent who goes this week, it's 3 white guys in a row.
Yeah, and it is a different season. Like this is a different season, but you know what? This is the first season where the demographics are pretty equal. And I do think that's why we have a cookout alliance. Like you would never have seen that in years past. So I do think that's progress. I like that because we had a comment from BB earlier, like Brittany now knows how OV, Kemi, and David felt. Now David is a different story. He was terrible, but I understand the point.
He was terrible in All Stars. He was better when he played the.
I don't know. Was he? He went up first for a reason, right? Like it wasn't maybe completely race based. I think it was a part of it, but I do think he was a bad player. He was like, you could tell, like you need to get good at the social part of the game right off the bat. And it really, really matters in Big Brother, because if you're the outcast, you're an easy target. And you know, you could see in week 1, Frenchie couldn't even tell who he should go after. You know, like he didn't know who the outcast was. He thought he was the outcast, and he has to get the popular kids out. And often what you need to do is just align with those popular kids. And it's not good. I don't like it. It's just what happens though in Big Brother.
The Kiefer strategy?
Yeah, the Kiefer strategy. Exactly. That's a great example.
Yeah, because he was loyal to you know, his Sunsetters.
Sunsetters for life.
No, it was not. You're right. It was not 3 guys in a row. No, this is definitely new. And I don't know, like, I do think it's kind of like, well, good, you know, now Brittany knows how these people felt. And I'm just like, well, that's not Brittany's fault. And it wasn't Ovi or Kemi or David's fault. You know, it's hard to be like, this is, you know, retribution. And I don't know. I don't like any of that stuff personally.
Yeah, well, is this actually smart to get out threats like this, to get out Brent's and these people early pre-jury? I think yes. I think getting out of Travis and Brent before jury is probably a good move, right?
Yes, 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 I agree.
Frenchie's kind of like, he's a white guy, but he's not like, he's I guess not perceived as much of a comp threat because he's
well, he won the first HOH, and then he won the other challenge. He was obviously pretty decent, and he
He was
almost won that
decent.
veto. He almost won that veto,
but he had no chill. He had no chill.
He didn't know how to play the social part of the game, especially right off the bat, and that matters. And I do think when we look at other players like a David, I think you have to put that into account. Okay, sometimes it is their personality. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's definitely groupthink, and they, you know, that's what happens in Big Brother, because it's a majority rules game. And when they put 13 white people and 3 people of color, I do think they single those people out sometimes and take those people out.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yes, but at the same time, sometimes those players have a hard time socializing with the, you know, when they get in the house.
Well, if like most of the house looked one way and you were definitely different, you might struggle a little bit, I guess. So
an
I don't
example
know.
in the Brent handbook is Brent's conversation with Tiffany. Tiffany is rebraiding her hair. Brent comes in and starts to ask some questions about it. One, he asks,
this cannot go well.
He asks if it's human hair. To which she's like, yes.
No,
it is.
this is bad. No, you don't do this.
And then 2, she's like, did you know the person that hair belonged to? To which
what did he touch? Wearing a wig?
No, she's rebraiding her hair, so it's to, you know, give it structure and base.
Yeah.
You add an extra hair. She has
okay.
human hair. So Brent is asking, do you know the people the hair came from? To which Whitney came in and just started talking over him about the hair to kind of save the situation. All right. But like, and if you didn't know, no, you would not know who the hair belongs to. Right?
Kind of weird question to ask.
It is a super weird question. Especially if you're coming from a place of ignorance, that's not how you would question someone about that.
This is bad. You don't do this, everybody.
Dave, you already had like your no danger.
No, I know. I know the rules. You don't go there.
Like,
but I think the main point, guys, is they need to cast more like this, where the demographics are more even.
Yes,
and because then it becomes less about that. You know,
I think it's actually true. I think the fact that it's this way is actually less the fact. Yeah, that's more of a thing. I don't know, Jaemeel. What like? How do you feel about that?
I think that there should be a mixture, right? And when I say the mixture, when you put your hand in a group of M&Ms, sometimes you get 3 reds and 2 browns and a whole lot of greens, and other times it's going to be different, right?
Yes, right.
Like it's not structured. It should be based upon a whole lot of factors, including the personalities involved, because you want to have the best show possible.
Yeah.
Right. So when people are saying quotas, I'm like, I think that the quota should be to diversify, but also strike that right balance of of the best possible characters of the show. If someone tells me if the difference between the show being having a well-balanced cast that is exciting for in the summer, or we replace one person with another person of color or thing, yes, representation matters, but also you're not going to sacrifice the show for just that.
No,
Right.
You should be casting better than that, right? And I think that if for a while the casting has been a little bit too lazy, and they can do better with the amount of people that they're getting and even recruiting. I'm not necessarily against recruits, because recruits are important individuals who don't know the game, who give us such wonderful moments.
I just figured out who Brent reminds me of, but in the opposite type of way. He's like, if Cody Calafiore was the worst Big Brother player of all time, that's who Brent is. You know, he's like all the instincts that made Cody a good player. Brent has none of them.
Yeah.
You know, Cody's really good at befriending girls. He was really good at just playing the game, understanding the strategy. You know, like Brent is the complete 180 of him. They're both from Jersey, and then they're both from that area. Like they're very similar, but completely opposite. That's
if both of them go to the same club, one's cleaning up, one isn't.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
Cody's Mike Trout, and Brent is a guy that can't get out of AA. You know,
put me in.
I'm simply not a pawn.
Put me in, coach. Put me in.
Talk about stupid.
Okay.
But yes, BB, you're correct.
Yes. He's just I don't know. You think he'd be around? He's a flight attendant. He's traveled the world. He should be more cultured.
But at the same time, look, the worst people to have conversations about culture is people who think they're cultured, because then they make these assumptions, these half brief moments of what they've experienced as being gospel, as opposed to just one glimpse at a culture, and that's where you get stupid stuff like what he said.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's true. Okay, so we talked about the nominations. We've kind of everything else. We talked about Brent's reaction and everything else. That he's pissed. He's coming after them. Anything else from the episode that we need to touch on? I'd like to kind of know what the hell is the state of the nation in the house, so we can get into our spoiler section shortly and kind of talk about what the feeds can let us know. But is there anything we didn't cover? Any raps from Brittany that I forgot to
stop
pull?
it? Okay, stop it.
Just checking.
This episode just seemed very paint by numbers after that whole. Once it kind of jumped to the nomination, I just didn't realize how long the wild card comp was.
Yeah, it felt like quite a bit of the episode. There was a lot of balance beam stuff tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the spoiler section. If you're leaving us here, make sure to check out our other podcasts and channels. Today we had our episode of Trivial Debates, which is our other channel where we're movies, TV, sports, and more. Jeff Mader was competing in that. I won't tell you what happened, but we had a great little debate about a whole bunch of different subjects, including the best comic book movie adaptation. So check out that channel, Trivial Debates.
That was not
the worst. It was the worst comic book movie.
Worst.
It was the worst one. And then
it was very informative as well. I like this episode.
It was a good one. Check it out. Listen to our stuff. And then also we have here on Super Mader Brothers Podcasting, we also cover shows like Marvel Cinematic Universe, like movies and TV and stuff like that, and also Survivor and Westworld. Check out our different playlists, and Live Long and Podcast, which is our Star Trek channel, where on Monday nights we talk about Star Trek, the original series. On Tuesday nights, we talk about Star Trek Deep Space Nine. We are finishing up season 3. Very exciting. We're going full hawk. And then on the weekends, we do Star Trek Radio Theater, coming back this Saturday, July 31st. We're doing Cause and Effect, the time loop episode. So get ready for that. We're coming back.
All hands, abandon ship.
All hands, abandon ship. So if you're a Star Trek fan, check out all that stuff or our other channels. Okay, so let's get. And speaking of Star Trek characters, let's get some F. Murray Abramson here for our spoiler section. That's right.
Okay, so let me kind of just not mention all the stuff that I talked about.
Quick question here. We have can we rewatch a Survivor season? We sure can.
Which one I would even like? Do you know which one I really love and I think would be a fun one to rewatch?
Sam wants Marquesas. He mentioned.
I know, but I don't want to watch that one. That's not a favorite of mine.
I think just trying to go back and rewatch those now, I think would be hard.
I would like to watch Pearl Islands again.
Pearl Harbor, yeah,
Pearl Islands is just the best because there's Rupert, there's Johnny Fairplay, there's the grandma thing. There's so much going on.
It would just be. It would feel. I remember even watching that stuff in like 2012 and how old it felt then, and it's 10 years later now. So,
and Lil, remember Lil?
Lil, yes, Lil, and was it Barton?
Yeah, so that Burton. I think
sorry.
That one would be fun just because just the fact that I can remember all those characters off the top of my head is pretty great.
Whereas Marquesas, you had what? Vesepia, Sean,
Boston Rob.
Yeah, Boston Rob. I don't think of Boston Rob when I think of Marquesas.
It's not what he's known for.
Yeah, true.
No. Sam wants Africa. He wants Big Tom.
The most depressing season of all time. The one where they suffered so horribly.
Or Amazon.
Amazon's a good one.
Or we did have those. We do have a couple of those Foster podcasts on the channel where we talked about a couple seasons with Josh Foster last year.
Africa number.
Check those out.
Check those out, Sam. We did actually. Yeah, we covered a bunch of that.
Wow, that Africa's a tough one. Okay,
Africa, they suffered so bad. Like that was the worst conditions they ever put them in.
Nearly killed the contestants.
Yeah, they nearly killed them.
Okay, Brittany has a crush on Christian, and often hangs out around like a third wheel when Christian's hanging out with Alyssa.
Alyssa must go. Alyssa, they will cut her throat.
I can't wait. Brittany win HOH, please, for the love of God.
Brittany was upset around the house. Someone has been hanging the toilet paper roll backwards, and she goes around showing the paper needs to roll forward over the top. So
that's how I believe in that. That is the proper way.
I don't care. When everyone asks me that, I just say like that. Amanda likes it this way, so that's the way I do it. But like I don't care.
But absolutely endearing herself.
Jeff Marquez is better on a rewatch. Come on.
I haven't watched it in a long time. I always avoid that one. Always avoid it.
You don't want to see Sean's speech where he kind of just screws himself over.
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah. Austin Rob too should have went like so early. Like he kind of like that whole. And I just remember with that season they sang a lot in the morning and stuff, and then they got told like you never saw that ever again on Survivor because of copyright laws and stuff.
Yeah.
The tribe has spoken.
Right.
Sarah, Brittany, Azza, Christian, and Alyssa want Whitney out.
So that's I wonder. Like Xavier doesn't, so that's why he did that. Yeah, you're right.
So let me get to veto players. So we have Xavier, Brent, and Brittany who are playing in the veto.
Of course.
In addition to that, you have Christian, Derek F.
Oh, okay.
And one
Christian,
more person.
Derek F. Okay.
He's not Derek X. Please, for the love of God.
Not Derek X.
Okay.
He can't win. He can't win this one.
Who would be the worst case scenario?
For who?
In general, to play.
I guess the worst case scenario is Brent comes down, right? So
for how the people feel in the house. Azza?
No. Azza would be great because you would know if Azza won, she would take
Whitney.
Right.
Whitney was the Whitney played, and the veto winner. The competition was Bollerina. The spinning around.
Whitney won.
She did
I'm not irritated.
She did not. Alyssa's boy toy, Christian won.
Oh, so he's gonna use that.
Right after the competition, Christian and Brittany started dancing in the one of the rooms. But Christian has spoken to Xavier, and it looks like he's not going to use it.
Girls love the curls.
To which, it seems that word is trickling back from like different people, explaining why they're not going to use it. Brittany was furious and feels that she deserves an apology.
Sorry. Wow.
She's such a self-entitled brat. Oh my God.
She deserves an apology and extended safety for being put on the block.
Did I look stupid?
Dave, can you go at some point and get the recording of Ozzy berating poverty at the Micronesia jury speech when she calls her the most spoiled, entitled brat of all time, because these are the same vibes I'm getting off of Brittany.
Yeah.
I think Brittany is somebody who's maybe, I think she's on the spectrum and has faced some adversity in her life, and this is how she copes with things. But in the TV world, it translates a little bit.
Control, Dave. She doesn't have control, and when she doesn't have control, this is what she is: the master of her situation. She studies hard, she puts in the work, and she sees results. And now she can't play without people stacking the deck against her. She's put on the block constantly, and she can't win her own safety. She is beyond frustrated, and if things keep going the way they are, she's gonna explode.
Yes, but she was beyond frustrated the second she got put on the block last week.
Yeah,
she needs to learn. If you want to play Big Brother, you need to control it a bit. You gotta hold that back a bit, because to start imposing all these different entitlements that you deserve apologies and you deserve this veto to be played on you. You don't deserve anything.
Yeah, you don't deserve anything. You don't deserve the money. I don't deserve the money.
Exactly.
No one in the house deserves the money. You got to win it. You got to earn it. Right? You got to.
I absolutely don't think that I deserve to be nominated.
See, deserve. The word deserve is implies that someone doesn't deserve it. Then
is she too immature? I don't even know if it's kind of a maturity thing. I think it's also it's a skill set to be able to read social cues and people and the vibe and sort of be self-aware. That's a cumulative skill, and I just don't think she has a lot of that.
Look, the truth is, in the world, nobody's above an ass whooping. Every single person on the earth deserves an ass whooping for one.
Is she gonna have a hard time in kindergarten?
Yeah, that's a good point, BB.
She needs to watch Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah, it's not the Tuma. That's the key.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Because these kids don't care who you are, that you can control the crayons or anything like that, right? The especially kids nowadays, no, you need to be able to swallow that pride.
Some of that stuff just bothers me because it's just it's a bully tactic, in my opinion, to do what she's doing.
It's a guilting tactic.
Well, that's bullying to me personally. That to me, to impose those ideas on people as if to me, it's like I'm more important than you.
More deserving.
More deserving.
Yeah.
If Azah was on the block, would she be like, Azah has no reason of being on the block? She did nothing. No. She'd be like, whoo, thank God I'm not on the block. That's exactly how that's the attitude that I get from her.
Right. I don't think she would have done what Azah offered to do for her.
Damn right.
And the thing is, I do think it comes from a place, though, for Brittany, that she's clueless of what's going on in the house. She has no idea what's going on. So every time she gets put on the block, I think she thinks she's the one going home. And if she knew that she was not the target, and she was the Spencer, remember season 15? We keep bringing it up. Yeah. But Spencer figured out eventually he was never the target. So he just kept going on the block and he was like, good, I'm going to have a cup of coffee and watch the next person next to me go home.
He nearly won the game.
He nearly won the game that way. So if you have a good attitude about it, you can do really well on the block. You
need to read the room, because you don't want people to think that you're pawn material and just have you keep being the pawn over and over and over and over again, right? But at the same time, you also can't freak out because people don't want to work with you, right? They don't, right? They don't want you to be an emotional wreck the moment that you're put on.
No fun.
Yeah, that's.
They want someone with a little bit more nerve.
That's someone you get on double eviction, because you don't want drama.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, and if she just calmed down and started to realize that she wasn't the target, or she talked to people and figured out she wasn't the target, I think she could handle it. But yeah, it's the adversity that I don't think she's really faced a lot of it as far as succeeding.
I think adversity that she wasn't able to overcome.
Yes, that's a good way to put it, Jaemeel. Yeah,
Sometimes you lose.
Sometimes you lose.
Yeah.
Well, that's
all be winners.
You know, I know not everyone in our audience knows Star Trek, but what does Picard say? You know, it's possible to make no errors and still lose. That's not failure. That's life,
and that's
something
learning. That's part of learning.
That's part. It's just kind of like sometimes that's how it goes, and you gotta. It's just you gotta do your best.
Take the L. Sometimes you gotta take the L.
Sometimes you gotta take the L and come back for the next W.
Sometimes the L will give you a way better lesson in life than the win. Actually, a lot of times the win hurts you more than the loss.
Oh, okay. That I can finally use this quote I've been meaning to use from Rosie Perez from the White Man Can't Jump. Sometimes when you win, you lose, and sometimes when you lose, you really win.
That's right. That it's so true.
Yes.
Because a lot of people that win the lottery blow all their money, and then people that were poor and then got the wealth figured out that how to appreciate it. All these different, there's countless examples I could bring up, but that that's a good way to put it.
One more quote, right, from Clueless, right? 2 losers make a winner.
Yeah.
And then you say whatever, moron. Okay.
Right.
I don't know that one, Jaemeel, but okay. Has the veto ceremony happened yet?
Power veto ceremony has not happened.
Usually hasn't happened by this time.
Yeah, but for all intents and purposes, they're not going to use it.
Not going to use it. We'll get the remaining noms, and Brent will presumably be voted out Thursday.
Yeah, Brent
as of right
has some suspicions that he's the target, but he's like, "But we got the votes. We got the votes," and everyone's.
He should have more than suspicions. He made it very clear that he is nothing about him as a pawn.
Nothing about me, physically, mentally, or emotionally, screams pawn.
Yeah.
I'm simply not a pawn.
Simply not a pawn. So how can he think he's a pawn?
I think like he needs to make sure Brittany goes home. That's his goal. That should be his goal in life. But I don't think that's his. I don't think both these players on the block are kind of like they're kind of egotists. Like they're both. They both don't really understand the house. They don't understand themselves within the house. And it's kind of fascinating that both of them are on the block together.
Yeah, they're both expendable too, right? At the end of the day.
Whoops, we slipped on the banana peel and Brittany's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Jaemeel was showing that you can put 2 L's and make it. Thank you, BB.
Yeah, 2 losers make a winner.
Or a Wario.
Exactly.
What is it? 2 L's, and then you can make a Mader. Jeff.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. I don't know. We can't get into that. Okay, so
I like the comments that Sam was saying there, though. That some of the Survivor winners definitely did use the money for not such great things.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing about money is that you can do whatever you want with it, even stupid things.
I'm just saying. I know people who have won the lottery before, and it didn't work out for them in the long run.
Alcohol's a drug, so.
Or lotteries, or you inherit money, or there's different things. Like, it's or you don't pay your taxes and you go to prison. But who's to say?
Yeah. Although I'm willing to take that chance. So if you have any money that you want to donate to me, or you have any money that you want me to inherit, go ahead. We'll see if I get corrupted. Let's take a chance.
Beat Adam Jasinski, BB9. Went to jail.
Yeah, we don't talk about Adam. Adam is the winner that doesn't exist.
Yeah. It's just like what's the guy who won Thailand in Survivor? Brian. Was his name? Yeah, that guy. We don't talk about him.
Yeah, we don't talk about him.
Yeah, I never really watched Thailand, so I couldn't tell you much about it.
Yeah, you can skip it.
Yeah, it's like the worst season of Survivor.
Is that with Yao Man too?
No, Yao Man was on Fiji.
No, I know Yao Man. Yeah.
Okay. Was that the one with the guy who the woman accused the guy of like inappropriate touching.
Yes.
It's like, I don't even like you. I love my wife.
Yes. It's the worst season. You talk about a cringe season. Thailand.
Yeah, Thailand.
Maybe that's the one we should rewatch because it's so cringy.
Oh yes.
Brian Heidick. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Brian Heidick. Oh jeez.
Okay. All right. Well, I think there's not anything else in the spoiler section you wanted to drop.
Nah.
Okay.
We'll talk about it on.
All right. Then we're gonna get out of here for tonight. We will be back, of course, on Wednesday night to talk about the power of veto, where we'll see who you just heard win that and everything else. And it will not be played, and then we will be talking about Thursday as well. We'll be back for the Thursday live eviction, where either Brent or Brittany will go. And all the other things I plugged earlier. Make sure to check all those out. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and throw some out there. And
be sure to like, subscribe, share, tell all your friends.
Sure, tell
And
whatever,
if you have the
however
free
these things
time,
work.
there's some other podcasts that you can be listening to, like our friend of the podcast, Eamon's
My son Eamon.
Yeah.
My son Eamon has got his talking about fighting games over on you can listen to that on Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Plus Jeff, our cousin, he's got Locutors of Trek. Check out that. It's actually a really fun, intellectual Star Trek podcast that I would really recommend.
There you go. That's 2 weeks of a plug-in.
We got so much going on.
Yep.
All right. Okay. We're going to close it out with the quote I didn't quite get through the other night. What is it called? Be the good. Where is it here?
From outside the Big Brother